Be sure to enter my Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 Top 10 Coasters 2015 competition. Link is in the description. Hello Spartans, Shout 2000 here, and welcome to episode 11 of Let's Play the Ultimate Theme Park 2015. And you know, I just noticed something. In the last series, Let's Play 2014, it was episode 12 I started doing the supports for our first coaster. But we're one ahead somehow. Holy mother of God. But I think I've actually spent more time actually recording time lapses than I did for the last series. Because I didn't know how to do the event velocity by episode 11 last year. So I was recording for about 40 minutes. Now, in this case, I was recording for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm actually kind of running a bit on the clock, actually, because I'm due on my erg in about an hour. Yeah, today's a bit nuts. So right here I decided just to make life easy for myself, just lower the terrain this side just so I could make it easier placing the rocks. I didn't want the sharp edges. But, me being me, I screwed up the terrain. Actually, I don't think it helps that I had YouTube, my recording software, and Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 all running at the same time. So, there was a bit of lag, especially when doing the terraforming. So then I just decided to, let's get going on the supports. I just want to get those over with. I mean, I will do the roof of that station somewhere. I'm just currently debating putting towers on the side or just spamming the crap out of pipes. So, here I was just doing kind of V-shaped supports. I wanted to try and get them the kind of alignment I had to the supports I had on the sit-down coaster back in last year's park, but I kind of got those by luck. I can't quite remember the spacing I had with the connectors. Although I had a reasonably good spacing here. I'm also trying to be conscious of how well I space the supports, because I know the Swarm has about, I don't know, 3 supports on the lift hill. It's really not much. So I was trying to be conscious of A, not putting in so few supports that it just looks stupid, but B, not putting in so many supports that that just takes up too much space. So here I was just giving myself a little more room to work with, because it turns out that support in the end kind of hit the wall. So obviously there's going to be cliffs surrounding this whole thing. It's going to be pretty crazy once I finish with all the rock work, which will probably take up about, I reckon, 6 episodes? Maybe less. It depends how in depth I go, and also if I can find some decent stairs, because I may just have to spam the crap out of Weber's Canyon Craze, so that will be terrible. So the supports custom scenery I'm using for the supports here, I'm using Coaster Joe's B&M connectors for the actual connections between the steel beams and the track itself. So if you haven't got the set, get it. It's an amazing set. Like, it will make your B&M coasters look so much better. And then, obviously, for the steel, well, there's only really one set you can use, and that's Moby Steel Jungle. Like, the only proper steel set in existence. I'm probably going to use the same for, Thingamajig, the Hyper Coaster. But, for the Itamin Coaster, I have another set, which I'm going to pull out. Well, 2, actually. The first is Moby's, or the Mega Coaster track connections. They're not made by Moby, they're made by whoever made the Mega Coaster CTR, which is what I'm going to use. And then, for the supports themselves, I don't actually know if that many people use their set besides me, because I haven't really seen it much. Most people just stick with Moby Steel Jungle. But I'm going to be using Coaster Joe's Itamin supports, which is, for Itamin coasters, like, it looks insane. I think, what was it I did the Itamin coaster in the last time at Ultimate Theme Park? I think that was Volsung or something? Or was it Vulcan? It was Vulcan. Yeah, sorry, I named them after Dragon Priests because reasons. But that coaster, I use Coaster Joe's Itamin supports. So go and watch that. Actually, the Ultimate Theme Park, it's one of my most viewed videos. I mean, it busted about 10,000 views in the time that last year's theme park has busted 1,000. Probably because I put the word ultimate in it. Seriously, like, when it comes to Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, like, just put the word ultimate in, seems to double your viewership. As does the phrase top 10, as I've discovered. Last year, like, the 2013 top 10 coaster of the year is my most viewed video of all time. So, another tip, actually, I've got with thingamajig, using Moby Steel Jungle, use the flanges, because they look so much better otherwise. So it's really hard to keep track of what I'm saying because the music keeps changing. I'm using a Best of Two Steps from Hell compilation. So it's times like this that, like, Coaster Joe's B&M connectors really comes into its own. Because, like, you can connect up to track pieces like this and it just looks so much better than anything you can try and do with Moby Steel Jungle. My only problem actually with Moby Steel Jungle is it doesn't have kind of the flanges on, like, the angle one specifically on kind of like center and edge tile placements. So you are a little limited in terms of placements, and sometimes you can't get them perfectly equal. So here I was just doing more beams. I mean, it's lagging a bit on my display, but obviously I'm assuming it's going butter smooth for wherever you're watching this. So yeah, obviously put more flanges in. It just makes it look so much more realistic. I'm saying this. I'm not sure if it's my best Wing Rider layouts, but I certainly say it's better than what I did for my last attempts. So just doing more footers. Oh yeah, the footers I'm using are Pisco's B&M footers. And on the subject, the Itaman footers I'll be using, Coaster Joe's Itaman footers. Like, I've never seen footers like that. They're so detailed. So also here's, like, basically just, seriously, like, if you don't have Coaster Joe's B&M connectors, just download them, because in case it isn't bloomin' obvious, you can see why they're so great. So just doing more beams and stuff. It's pretty much all this episode is. Supports, supports, and more supports. Although I think in last year I did the supports of the B&M all in one hit. Although for the wooden coaster that took about 10 of time. I really just realised I haven't actually done a wooden coaster this year at all. I should do one at some point once I finish this. Maybe another one in the style of Insanus, but obviously a bit more accurate. So yeah, it was kind of getting a bit repetitive at this stage. Also, the thing I used to use actually Dazamatsu's utilities for the footers, but I've discovered that Pisco's B&M footers actually, the textures I think are slightly better, and also actually they're a bit more versatile. You've got like corner edge placements, which I've no idea what those are, but they're kind of a hybrid between edge and corner, so they're sort of 50-50. Basically, you can be much more accurate with the placements. Sorry, did I say placements? Although my one problem with using Coaster Joe's B&M connectors is with the overbanked turns. Because like they are so hard to line up. It's so annoying. But once you get them right, they really work. If you get them wrong, they're shit. I said I wouldn't swear. Sorry. So here, just doing more connectors, trying to get an even spacing. So actually, another problem I have with actually Coaster Joe's B&M spine connectors is, for some reason, he's only got medium 0G roll connectors on one side, so like going on way. So with the full size 0G rolls, you've got left connectors, so like for 0G rolls that go left, and you've got the ones for 0G rolls that go right. But with some reason, with the medium 0G rolls in the extended track, you only get them for 0G rolls that go to the right, not the left for some reason. I don't know why. Happily, I had it the right way around for this one. So here, just two more footers. Oh, my favourite track just came on, To Glory. Which is, if any of you know my channel well enough, then you'll know that this is what I used for last year's theme park. So just doing more things and more footers. It did get a bit annoying here, because if you do footers on like kind of cliff edges, it basically kind of ends up as like columns. So then I just decided to, well yeah, I just carried on. I pretty much spent my entire time doing foot supports, except for the end where I decided to start work on the transfer track. I still need to finish that station at some point. For the record, this series is completely uncut. Like, nothing I do in this theme park gets cut out. You see absolutely everything I do in this theme park, from the minute I start to the minute I crash the game. Okay, no, I don't usually crash. Well, I haven't hit the crashing game stage yet. Actually, here's where I had some debates, because, like, I've been thinking of how I can do, like, scenery interaction with the coaster. I probably am going to spam the crap out of near misses, because with a Wing Rider, it's actually quite a good one. Because the coaster cars are quite wide but flat, you can really get some good kind of knife edges. So I'm probably going to do some work with pipes and towers, having it shoot between the two of them. Probably up on this twist, and also on the overbank, have it fly between a couple of towers or some pipes. I might also do some stuff on the kind of vertical turns. So here I ended up deciding at some point that I thought there were a few too many supports here, and decided to reposition a few. At some point, I can't quite remember when it was. See, I realised I'd almost missed out this one. And then got going on the supports for the corkscrew. When I was building the coaster, actually, the layout, I was quite conscious of kind of the speed at this part, because I didn't want going through the corkscrew too quickly. So just doing the last connectors. Oh yeah, and this is where I decided to delete those and do some repositioning. So just do more things and just more connectors. I was slightly conscious here that I decided to lower the diagonals because I didn't want to risk getting your face taken off by them. I think I missed though. I did a kind of dry run of the on the coaster cam after I stopped recording this episode, just to see what it was like. And I think there's no clashes. It's quite a tight. It is quite tight though with the exit of the station and entrance, but that was kind of the idea. Hopefully I'll be able to get away with it. Or I can just do some clever trickery. I'll just cut it out. Sorry, I'm really tired at the moment. I've finally got a day off exams after best part of a week and a half with no breaks except for the weekends. Even then I was racing at the biggest joke in the rowing world. Oh, sorry, London Youth Games. So just do more connectors. Oh yeah, I like this track. I can't remember. I think it's called After the Storm or something. I really do like it. I'll reach out to my running playlist at some point. So just doing more supports than the last few ones. I think I still did some flanges on these just for the sake of detail. I'm debating whether or not I should have left that gap between this one I'm doing and the one on the right, but I think it's just about able to get away with it. So I've actually left a gap in the supports on this kind of brake run because I'm going to put a transfer track in there. Like, one of the things I often do wind up putting on my coasters is transfer tracks. Like, I am a huge advocate of them. Also, I'm pretty sure my technique for doing them is pretty perfect. Okay, that's personal opinion, but like, I've seen some pretty good transfer tracks in my time, but I'm pretty sure my ones are up there. So just what I usually do is I dig out either the steel plate beams from Vodhin's girder's structural set, or I'm doing what I do here, which is what I did for I was going to do it for Dominus, but that ended up getting cancelled. So what I'm doing is I'm digging out CSF steel I-beam sets. I think that's what it's called. And then what I do is I put that underneath the coaster track and extend it out, so I put extra coaster stations in here. And then if you can see underneath the main track, I've got the wheels from Gadget Coaster Goodies. So that gives you kind of motorized wheel effects, because obviously in real transfer track, that track is going to be able to move along those rails and line itself up with the tracks I'm doing here. Although I think at some point I deleted off one of these stations. So just here I decided, well, just for the sake of detail, let's have an extra little kind of evacuation station. I will admit, this set is incredibly irritating because none of the kind of raccord pieces, it's all in French, but none of them actually line up, whatever. So yeah, just me being super detailed. So at this point, I was nearly done, and I was already on my third episode of Gold Fever. I can't believe I almost watched the entire series. So I decided to just do some last minute supports on that, just in case, because I didn't quite think it was strong enough to take the weight. So, on to the final track, which probably means my cue to sign off is coming up. So anyway, I decided to do some baseballs here just so I knew what I was doing next episode and just get some planning in. So anyway, I am ShowT4000, you're watching RCT for Let's the Ultimate Theme Park 2015, and this is youtube.com/Marshmallow Murderers. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow, or maybe even later today. Bye!